Aloha, good evening, everyone. On this pleasant Friday night from Saratoga Springs, Utah, we welcome you to Westlake High School and this presentation of Skyridge Football presented by Heidemann & Associates on the Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com. Tonight, Region 3 opens with a massive slate on the line, and tonight it's the Skyridge Falcons, the defending champs, taking on the Westlake Thunder. With my broadcast partner, the favorite son of Salem Hills, Zach Hunter, Alexander Tumulip here joining in the brother broadcast booth. Well, Zach, I turn to you, and the first thing I say is there's only really one thing I need to say, actually. There's where there's a description of Region 3 in Utah high school football, I respond with 3 letters, S-E-C. That's how difficult, that's how challenging, and that's how competitive this new region is. And if anyone doesn't believe me, well, you're about to see the defending champs out here on the field tonight, their first region game.
Definitely, Alex. We definitely see that, and this region is just so stacked that we see when we're walking in here, the atmosphere is electric. Fans are going crazy. Walking up here, the student section all dressed out, ready for this game. We know something's about to go down.
Now, speaking of going down, these are two teams that are going in opposite directions, Zach, because Skyridge is currently undefeated. You have to argue, though, their toughest game was probably against Timpview back in the season opener, winning by only 12 points. They haven't faced a defense like this, though, in the Westlake Thunder. This is a Westlake team that is pretty gritty and is pretty physical up front. This could pose a significant challenge, and I think a lot of people think a lot more significant challenge than a lot of people might think it would for the champs here tonight.
Definitely. We've known that Westlake is the top dog in this competition for sure, but the one point that they may need to focus on is their defense. We know they have an explosive offense, but will they be able to carry that into all 4 quarters tonight?
So let's jump into our keys to the game now, speaking of which, presented by Heidemann & Associates, the full-service law firm that is committed to winning for you, the clients. Zach Hunter, what are you focusing specifically on for each of these teams to take home the dub here tonight?
Yeah, Alex, so I'm seeing that the keys to the game for the Skyridge Falcons would be to lock down that defense. We know that it's almost like to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right, Alex? They're going 4-0. We're just coming off that bye week, and we know that things are going well for the Falcons. But we also do know that their defense may be their weak point this season. Coming in, they've been holding to their opponents under 20-plus points all season, but they've allowed 20-plus points in this season 3 times. And so that might be the weak point for them. Going to the Westlake Thunder, protect the house is what comes to mind, Alex. We know that is one of their team mottos, actually, this year. But they know we need to lock down the defense, lock down that offense that the Skyridge Falcons will provide. And that will be the key to them to survive and to thrive in this game, would be to lock down their defense.
That's the one thing that Coach Arnold Ale really has prided himself on the first few weeks of the season. But as we said, where's the Westlake offense going to get its quote-unquote thunder from, as it were, because in their last 10 quarters of action, they have only scored 1 touchdown, and 10 of those quarters, of those 10 quarters, 8 of them have been at home, including last week against Copper Hills, where they lost 15-6. And they were up 6-0, and then they allowed the final 15 points of the game in less than a quarter and a half.
Definitely, and along with that point, Alex, that I think along locking down that defense, they're going to have to lock down number 3 from Skyridge, Carter Sheffield. He ran for 57 yards last week with 10 carries against Riverton, and he'll be a player to watch tonight. Will he be able to make that performance against the Thunder? Will it improve, or will they be able to lock him down?
Saratoga Springers, Rad Concrete, Rogers Foot and Ankle.
So we are just seconds. We are supposed to be seconds away from kickoff here, but unfortunately, it looks like one of the cameramen took a dive out on the 46-yard line, and he is down getting medical attention right now. So we are going to take a short break. We're going to step aside, and we're going to hope the best for the cameraman that's down on the far side of the field. We'll hope that he's okay, and hopefully we'll have kickoff in just a short bit. Again, we're going to step aside here for just a few seconds, and we hopefully will have kickoff very soon. Peyton Barkley is the deep man, and we're underway. And it will go to Peyton Barkley at the 1. Barkley gets the corner. 20, 30. Brought down at the 43-yard line. It didn't look like Peyton Barkley had a lot of room, but he was finally brought down by Mark Baird, one of the corners. And what a start there for the Westlake Thunder as they get excellent field position out near midfield.
You see that, Alex, where he made those moves tight, those turn moves, and he spun right, and that's where we see that he broke those ankles of that Skyridge player. So definitely impressive.
So now we're about to find out what this Westlake offense can produce. It's the first big question of the night. In the shotgun, and the handoff goes to the right side. And maybe a couple as Aiden Bayless.
Ball's run out by number 55, Drayson Afuvai.
Drayson Afuvai got the handoff there from Aiden Bayless, who's the starter.
For Westlake is number 10, Aiden Bayless.
Tevin Smith made the stop, the nickelback on the far side.
Coming on the field is number 34, Drake Youngberg.
Drake Lundberg now goes into the shotgun with Bayless, with an H-back to the left of Bayless. And that classic power formation. And it is a handoff, and getting absolutely nowhere and not going anywhere in a hurry was Lundberg. He was brought down on the play by Tazen Selu. And this is going to bring up an early third down here for the Thunder. 3rd down and 10.
Third down.
Not exactly the start I think they envisioned, Zach, after getting a good kickoff return there from Barkley, because now you're in a passing situation, if anything.
Yeah, and they're just getting going, Alex. This is going to be a long battle tonight. And so it's definitely, we're going to have to see how the Thunder stacks up against the Falcons when it comes to their offense.
And especially in the trenches, right? I mean, the front seven of both of these teams just so physical. I mean, it's likely we could see a physical defensive battle. Bayless throws. That is dropped in and out of the hands.
Pass intended for number 8, Griffin Fa'amusili.
Griffin Fa'amusili was the intended receiver, and it just went right in and out of his hands, and that's probably one that Fa'amusili probably should have come up with.
I mean, you hate to see that, Alex, where you know when he goes up for that pass that goes right through, you know what he's got to be feeling right there. But he'll get right back in this for the Thunder.
Go and check him out.
Mark Baird back to receive the punt. And it is a wobbler, end over end. It's going to take a pounce. That's actually Tavian Edwards back there. He's going to take it on the run at the 16. And good coverage on the play by the Westlake Thunder. First contact on the play made by number 16.
Down by number 16, Mason.
That's Mason Jenkins, the senior. And for the first time tonight, Zach, we get to have a look at Jackson Stevens, the transfer from Davis, who was fairly impressive. Just threw for 281 yards and 4 touchdowns in one half of football last week against the Riverton Silverwolves. Tough to follow that up.
Stevens comes in with a presence. He's 6'5" and 218. We recognize him immediately when he goes on the field.
And there he is right there, throwing out to his Z receiver, Jack Burke, on the sideline. And Burke is brought down out of bounds at the 28-yard line, and that is 12 yards on 1st down and 10. We expect to see a lot of the ball being thrown in the air here tonight. Skyridge, the number 1 offense in 6A coming into this game. Stevens with Sheffield at his right hip pocket in the shotgun. Play action, throw. That's again to Burke on the sideline. He steps out of bounds. Actually, they're going to say it's an incomplete pass as Burke did not get the foot down in bounds. So that fooled me because I thought he was in bounds on that far sideline, but the official must have said his left foot or his heel touched the white before he made the catch. So apparently Stevens is human. He's had 1 incompletion in 2 snaps. Stevens hands to Sheffield. Big hole up the right side. And Sheffield is brought down, but not before he picks up another 1st down. Across the 35-yard line to the 38.
And that's just what you see, Alex. Sheffield does what he does. He ran right up the field, looking straight ahead. The man knows how to run.
Sheffield, who also played on the basketball team, will be also playing basketball. Shout out to Coach Jeff Gardner if he's watching. He's always watching somehow. Stevens throws for Burke. That's complete. And Burke is brought down out of bounds by 2 men. And Burke is brought down after a pickup of about maybe 6 on that sideline. So Jack Burke, the favorite target here of number 11, Jackson Stevens here. 11 to 14 here early on. You would have thought they would have gone more to Trent Call or Akea Kalama coming out of that slot, but apparently they trust Burke enough out of that Z receiver spot. Stevens, play action, throws the sidearm screen. That's complete to Call. Trent Call makes a move, gets away from 1 man at the 40, at the 35, and he's finally brought down at the 32-yard line, but not before he picked up close to 30 and another first down for Skyridge.
Just look at how Stevens threw that, Alex. He went off fast off that snap, off to the side, sidearm. The man knows how to throw.
You would have to think we're going to see a lot of that tonight, given how aggressive this Westlake defense is. One of the best in 6A by far as Stevens throws. That's complete to Call again. And Call is brought down at the 24-yard line. Pick up of 9 on the play. Does seem like, Zach, that quick passing game is going to be a theme of the night here for Skyridge, given how, like I said, aggressive that Westlake D is.
Just to see the tempo difference, Alex. Skyridge is going fast with the ball, fast with the snaps, except on this play. But you can see the different styles of the offense and how Skyridge approaches it with confidence.
Right, and exactly what you said. Confidence is the word. Westlake, 1 touchdown in the last 10 quarters of play. Here is a play-action throw. That's complete to McClellan. Inside the 10, and he's brought down inside the 10 at the 9-yard line. And just like that, it's first and goal for the Skyridge Falcons.
First down, brought down.
The receivers are really giving everything Stevens to work with right now. He's quick, they're ready, they're going.
Seemingly a theme of every single time that Justin Hem has run this offense for the last few weeks. Here's Sheffield on the handoff, right side. Sheffield inside the 5. And he's going to be twisted back to the turf around the 4-yard line.
I'll give credit to the Westlake defense right here, Alex.
And that's really the first time that they've stopped them all drive long, and it comes in the red zone. It'd be interesting, Zach, to see if they go right back to that. Sheffield only picked up 4. I say only picked up 4, but he could have easily had a touchdown. Call in motion. Stevens looks for Call, and we have a flag. And I suspect it's going to be a false start. And it is. Brian Ford, tonight our referee, wearing the white hat. So, Zach, we always talk about in football how the playbook shrinks a little bit more when you're inside the red zone, but especially when you're down this close to the goal line, I suspect second and goal from the 5 is a lot easier than second and goal from the 10.
Definitely, Alex. Right here is where teams are built for, what they train for in practice.
Same right there. That pass is tipped and picked off. And the Westlake Thunder get a huge takeaway. Featherstone read the screen and picked it off, and the Westlake Thunder stoned the Skyridge Falcons cold inside the 10.
The Thunder is aggressive right here. Not what fans were expecting when they came into this game. The crowd is getting electric. They are loving this energy that the Thunder is bringing. This might throw some odds up there. We don't know exactly how this will affect the game. We do know it's exciting. Beckham
Featherstone with the interception. So Westlake now from the 44. Bayless to throw. He's got a man in coverage and a sliding catch. And a catch made by Fa'a Musili on that far sideline. And a first down for Westlake. What a turn of events.
Yeah.
In case you're just joining us, folks, Skyridge was marching inside the 5-yard line, but Beckham Featherstone came up with an interception on the screen throw by Jackson Stevens, and now Westlake, after a nearly 30-yard completion to Fa'amusili. Aiden Bayless now has the Thunder inside of Skyridge territory. Second down. He throws for Fa'amusili again, and he throws it over his head. Miscommunication there on that play.
Feels like a flip has been switched, Alex, for the Westlake. All of a sudden, things just started to click on their offense, especially on that interception right there. It feels like fans, the stands, everything is going in Westlake's favor right now.
That's literally every stadium I've been to, Zach. That's just the nature of the beast. I mean, if you think this was shaky, Cedar Valley, that place was shaking so hard I thought the stands were going to cave it. 2nd and 10 now from the 35. Could be 4-down territory here for the Thunder, depending on what they want to do here. Bayless throws, Fa'amusili open, and this time he overthrows him by about a half a step.
For number 8, Griffin Fa'amusili.
And that has to be a concern right now for Patrick Gleaves, the defensive coordinator for Skyridge. That's 3 times on this drive. All 3 plays, they have gone to Griffin Fa'amusili, and Tavian Edwards and Mark Barrett have just not been able to stay with him.
And we're seeing on display, Alex, the presence of the offense of the Westlake is definitely their strength, as well as the lack of the defense on Skyridge. This is where the matchup is going to be played at, is in moments like this.
3rd down and 10 from the 35 now. There could be 4-down territory here for the Thunder, again, depending on what they want to do. Bayless rolls to his right, now throws, that is complete! On the run, what a catch! And coming back for the ball and making the catch is tackled by Toilolo Ezra Heiner. And a first down for the Westlake Thunder as they move the chains. So this typically West Coast pro-style offense turns into a throwing offense all of a sudden as the handoff to the right side goes to number 34. That's Drake Lungberg. He gets brought down by Tazen Selu et al. On that left sideline, and that's a pickup of 4 yards. And suddenly, Zach Hunter, the Westlake Thunder have gone from defending the heels on their goal line. Now they're in the red zone here.
The script has been flipped, Alex, definitely.
But it is what we expected. Westlake, coming into this game, lost 4 in a row, but they are not a slouch by any means. Bayless to pass, rolls to his right, looking for Heiner, throws for him, and throws it over his head. Crowd wants a flag. They're going to get no benefit.
That's 3 big overthrows that Westlake has had in the past three possessions. We know that this will be something that definitely they talk about at halftime, is how to find the receivers for Westlake.
And that's 3 times on this drive, Zach, where Bayless has thrown the ball in the general direction of his receivers, and they just have not been able to catch up to it. Fa'amusili now lines up to the left, matched up against Edwards. They bring a corner blitz. Bayless, quarterback draw. He's got the first down and more inside the 5. Brought down inside the 5 of the 4-yard line.
Alex, it's like I'm seeing deja vu. We just saw this about 2 minutes ago down on the other end zone. Westlake definitely has brought the pressure to Skyridge.
How things have quickly changed here this first quarter. Fa'amusili now lines up. Heiner now goes out to the right. And lining up now in the running back position is Lundberg. They give it to him. And Lundberg is going to get back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe got a couple.
By Ezra Heiner.
Lundberg brought down on the play, and we have a player down for the Westlake Thunder. And that is number 24 for the Thunder. We're going to get that player sorted out here in a second.
Injury timeout on the field.
That is Landon Rasmussen, a 5'9 senior. who is down on the field. So we'll take the short timeout. Landon Rasmussen is okay, jogging off the field under his own power. 4:49 to play first quarter. No score. Alexander Timup alongside the favorite son of Salem Hills High, Zach Hunter at Westlake High School. We want to welcome in those listening, of course, on the radio, on the Red Zone Show with Dusty and Jeff. Skyridge threatened. Westlake now threatening in kind. 2nd and goal. Bayless to throw. To the end zone. Touchdown! Lundberg.
That's a Westlake touchdown. Number 34, Drake Lundberg.
That is the 2nd touchdown of the season, and just the 2nd touchdown in the last 10 quarters for Westlake.
Definitely not what Skyridge was thinking coming into this game. Definitely puts the tide in Westlake's favor.
Andrew Wright knocks through the extra point. And with 4:44 to go here in the first quarter, the Skyridge Falcons, for the first time since the opener against Timpview, Zach Hunter, now trail 7-0. I'd like to remind you that KSL Sports coverage of high school football, specifically Skyridge football, is presented by our good friends at Advanced Window Outfitters. Or Advanced Windows, rather. Fall window sale going on with $2,000 off 10 windows or more with 60 months and 0% interest financing available for a limited time only. Call them at 801-850-9100 for your free consultation to get it before the snow starts coming down. Well, don't blink, folks, because you'll miss it. Skyridge was threatening inside the Westlake 5-yard line and then threw an interception. And then subsequently it turned into a touchdown. Andrew Wright set to kick off. Taking it and looking for it, actually, and letting it go into the end zone for a touchback. McClellan and Trevor McClellan was coming up number 6 for it.
Westlake Athletics would like to extend a big thank you to
Zach, now I turn to you. I mean, this is about the time we're going to find out what the Skyridge team is made of, because they have not been behind very much all season long. But here they are, trailing for the first time since the opener against Timpview about, say a month ago.
Definitely, that's what I was just noticing too, Alex, is that Skyridge has only allowed 14 points all season on any given game. And so far, Westlake is bringing them something they haven't seen. And so really it will be like what you said, Alex. This is the moment where Skyridge defines who they are.
That pass incomplete. Number 2, Colby Smith, the intended receiver. And I hammer home the point because last week when Alex Amrine and I were up at Riverton, Skyridge was up 23-0 before you could even blink. And now here they're down 7-0 after a really promising opening drive ended in a red zone pick. It just shows you how quickly things could change in region play. Stevens from the gun on 2nd and 10 from the 20. Sheffield up the middle, nothing doing. Runs into a whole wall of Carolina blue. And we have a late flag down after the play. And where the flag is thrown, I would suspect that this could be after the play an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against either the Falcons or the Thunder.
Hey, as a reminder, the Westlake cheerleaders are holding their annual mini cheer clinic September 25th.
Brian Ford, the official, will talk with his linemen
and perform a routine at halftime.
And
at the Westlake versus Lehigh.
It looks like the penalty is going to be on Trent Call because Brian Ford is pointing him out.
Please see a cheerleader for more information.
And it is going to be against Skyridge's Trent Call, and now it's going to be
Westlake cheerleaders.
This is definitely not what they want right now.
I mean, you talk about going from bad to worse here in the first quarter. You get an interception that gets turned into a point, and now you have an equipment violation called against Skyridge.
Penalty brings the ball back to
and it's a dead ball foul on top of that, Zach. I mean, things are just going from bad to worse here on this second drive.
Westlake here has a moment to take advantage of and we have another flag.
Yeah, we have another flag. It's going to be an offside. Give 15
Offside,
up, and they
Westlake.
put 5 right back.
5-yard penalty.
So because it was a dead ball after the play foul against Trent Call, it's now 3rd down. That's why the marker says 3 on the far sideline. So 3rd down and a mile here.
The student section is getting very excited. Big 3rd down over here.
That pass is nearly picked off. It's headed for Colby Smith.
A combo by Peyton Barclay and Aiden Bayless.
Aiden Bayless, who's playing quarterback, comes up and makes the hit. And you have to say, Stevens looked like he forced that one into double coverage.
I think this just goes to show, Alex, the fast pace and unexpectedness that high school football brings is that you never really know what you're getting into at the start of the game. That's definitely what Skyridge did not expect was.
And then a muff on the special teams. Who's got this one? They umpire. Skyridge has it.
That was recovered by Skyridge.
Aiden Bayless couldn't come up with the punt.
The 47-yard line.
And now Skyridge once again threatening. If there was ever manna from heaven, Zach Hunter, that was it.
It's almost like, Alex, that they're hearing us up here. Every time that there's something we say, that there's an unexpected play that happens next. This might just be the theme of the night.
Welcome to 6A Region 3. Stevens from the gun, hands off to Sheffield. Sheffield into the secondary. And then he gets smothered right at about the 34-yard line.
Sheffield.
You definitely tell that Stevens has trust in Sheffield. He just runs the ball. He gets his job done. He gets that 1st down. He's his go-to man. And that's what you need in a running back, Alex, is someone that you can trust. And Stevens definitely has that relationship with Sheffield.
It's what they need right now, down 7-0. Remember, Skyridge was down here near the red zone. They turned it over last time. 1st and 10, and we have another flag. Some early movement on the line.
False start, Skyridge.
That's already the 2nd penalty against Skyridge, 3rd in the game. And Justin Hem's crew committing some really untimely self-inflicted wounds, some really untimely self-inflicted mistakes here.
You just know that that's what is going through the Skyridge players and the sideline right now. It's those little moments where you know that you can control it, but it's those little self-inflicted things that when you shoot yourself in the foot, it's hard to come back from that.
Stevens hands to Sheffield again, right up the gut. He gets popped right at the 30-yard line, so he gets the penalty yards back plus a few more.
Brought down by Drayson Afuvai.
Drayson Afuvai made the stop. Called his name a lot, the middle linebacker, 55, middle of your screen. 2nd and 6, Sheffield again, and this time he's going to get smothered in the backfield. They were ready that time.
Westlake is taking notice, Alex, of what's happening here. They notice they're going to Sheffield a lot. They notice that he's the trusted guy. And we're starting to see signs of what brings Westlake their strength right here. It's their defense.
John Dowell made the stop, the junior, on that right side, and now another big 3rd down. And you'd have to think probably this could be 4-down territory for Skyridge, given the fact they are where they are right now. Westlake not showing pressure, and they're coming. It's picked up. Stevens throws to the end zone, and it is caught for the touchdown! Colby Smith!
Pass complete to number 2, Colby Smith, for a Skyridge touchdown.
And the Skyridge Falcons strike right back. A 32-yard strike from Jackson Stevens to Colby Smith. And the drive that was kept alive by the muff punt ends with Skyridge in the end zone and an extra point from the tie.
I think you just notice here, Alex, that Skyridge has been here before. They got in the end zone. They knew what they're doing. They walk off the field. They've been here before. It's what they do. They score. And so hopefully this is what Skyridge wants going into the rest of the game, is that confidence. This may put them back in their chances right here.
Tied at 7, 2.5 minutes to go. A wild start here at Saratoga Springs. I'd like to thank Modern Missionary Menswear for their sponsorship of KSL Sports Rewind's presentation of Skyridge football, presented by Heidemann and Associates. Call them today at 801-472-7742, or visit them at utah.law to schedule a free consultation with them, courtesy of the Rewind Sports Network. Well, what a start we've had here in Saratoga Springs. All points coming off turnovers. One a muff punt by Westlake, the other an interception by Skyridge, and we're back underway as Peyton Barkley, heels on the goal line, will not be able to bring it out as he crossed over into the end zone. Alexander Tumble alongside the former Salem Hills Skyhawks sprinter Zach Hunter.
Sprinter, yes. Track is more...
Track star.
Track
star.
Oh,
Zach
star is a big word.
Track star Zach Hunter. Thank you very
Definitely.
much. Well, Zach, how was that introduction? I mean, we've had 2 turnovers, and both of the touchdowns have come off of the turnovers here in the first 10 minutes of the game. Definitely, I think, what we expected coming into this game. Defenses have been the story, at least thus far.
That's really what is going to be the difference maker in this game, is who can lock down, who can get in the game and focus up with their defense to stop the pressure.
There's a throw over the top, and underthrown that time. In fact, incomplete. Intended for Sealy. It seems like they're going to a lot of those deep shots here early in the ball game here, Zach. I bet, because if you see right now, Skyridge has kind of loaded up the box. It seems kind of counterintuitive that you want a quick throw over the top, but I guess they trust Aiden Bayless's arm a little bit more than I think people think right now.
Definitely, it's been a small run game on both sides of the ball, Alex. We've seen lots of throws from Stevens. We've seen lots of throws on Westlake's side as well. It's definitely not a run game, except for this play right here.
Yeah, except for that play right there. Rasmussen takes the handoff and goes out to the left side. He picks up about maybe 3. Escorted out of bounds there by Jacopo Malefau. And now this brings up a big third down at 7 here with 2 minutes and 21 seconds left here in what's been a wild first quarter. Westlake 2 for 4 on third downs here this evening. They would miss their first, but then they went 2 for 3 on their next, but then they went 2 for 2 on their next drive. Bayless on third down, throws the screen in the flat. That is complete. There's a flag down, though, where Bayless threw the ball, and meanwhile, Deshaun Toilolo, number 0, is down, and that's not good. And meanwhile, I think we're going to have a personal foul here on Skyridge for roughing the passer after Bayless let go of the ball. At least that's what I think it is, Zach. I mean, it came after the pass was thrown, so that's normally where you see roughing the passer, and that's what it is. I mean, Skyridge committing all sorts of self-inflicted self-harming penalties here in the first quarter. Not what we normally see.
Ever since that first touchdown by Westlake, Skyridge has definitely been thrown off their game a little bit. Westlake has done a good job of just maintaining pressure through this first quarter, and Skyridge is getting back into the sorts of it. We'll see how they do in this next play.
Zach Hunter, 3rd penalty already for Skyridge. They had an unsportsmanlike conduct for an equipment violation. Then they had a roughing the passer penalty. They had a false start. Well, I guess things can change in a heartbeat in less than a week.
Region play brings mysteries, Alex.
The Lord doth move in mysterious ways as Rasmussen takes it into the stack. He gets maybe a yard. And that is pretty much what we expect from this front 7 on both sides here tonight. A lot of body blowing in the trenches here tonight. It's going to be a matter of who can really wear down the other before the night's over.
I have a feeling, Alex, this is just going to be a bloodbath to the end of who can last, like you said, who can be get the final play.
Fa'a Musili lines up to the top of your screen. He's matched up against Mark Baird. Heiner in the slot to the left. Rasmussen, the running back. Bayless in trouble. Bayless is sacked. No contest there.
Quarterback brought down by number 10, Tazen
Liufau comes into the backfield. The junior, Afu Liufau, coming in for Taysen Selu, and it's third down. First sack of the night for Skyridge.
Third down.
So that's going to bring a third down and a mile here for Westlake. Under a minute to go here, first quarter. It's tied at 7. Triple wide receiver now lines up in a tandem to the left. Fa'a Musili with Baird dropping back in coverage. Bayless now steps up. He's going to take off. He's not going to get the first down, but he'll pick up most of the yards back. And he'll get gang tackled at about the 42-yard line. He picked up about 12
Ball's run out
on the play, but
Bayless.
not nearly enough for the first down, and Westlake will punt.
Up to the 43-yard line.
And I suspect that will be the final play of what's been a wild first quarter here this evening at Westlake High. Unless they want the punter, Dagan Barney, to get this off before the end of the quarter, he will. And Barney's punt is a wobbler, end over end. Baird comes up and makes the fair catch. As time expires here in the first quarter.
Punt by number 37, Westlake.
Well, Zach, that was fun. Are you entertained yet?
Very. This is not what we expected coming in here, Alex. Energy is high. The crowd is loving it. This is high school football.
Our attention now.
We are deadlocked at 7 at the end of 12 minutes.
We'd
We'd like to remind you, of course, that KSL Sports coverage of Skyridge football is presented by Advanced Windows. The fall window sale going on right now. $2,000 off 10 windows or more with 60 months, 0% interest financing available for a limited time. Call them today. Alexander Timolip, Zach Hunter here at Westlake High School. It starts with a second down, or start with a run, rather, to Carter Sheffield. Sheffield gets about maybe 5 or 6 yards on that play.
Runners brought down by number 13.
In case everybody missed it, we had an interception on the opening drive by Skyridge after a punt by Westlake. That led to a touchdown for Westlake to take a 7-0 lead, and then Skyridge got a muff punt after what looked like was going to be a 3-and-out. And then they promptly went down the field and scored on a third down play to Colby Smith from Jackson Stevens. And that's where we are right now. Stevens from the gun, 3-man front. They hand it to Sheffield again, and he's got another big hole. And Sheffield gets over the 40 to about the 44-yard line. He gets enough for a first down.
Sheffield.
I've said it before, Alex. Sheffield, he does his job. And we see that definitely is trusted on the Skyridge team to just go out there, tuck his head down, get another down. That's his job. He does it.
Skyridge being shown a lot of respect in the passing game right now. Stevens now on first down, throws. That's complete underneath. That's McClellan. And Trevin McClellan has a first down to the 40-yard line. Now we're starting to see a little bit more of what we started to expect from Skyridge here in the first 4 weeks of the season. Skyridge now marching into Westlake territory. They have it 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line after a bit of a ragged start.
The experience is starting to show for Skyridge, Alex. They've been here before. They just come to do a job, and they're going to get it done.
Burke on the slant, on the stick route. That's complete. He picks up about 9 before he's brought down.
Number 14.
And Zach, it does seem like Skyridge is getting shown a lot of respect in the passing game right now. A lot of 3-men front being shown by that Westlake defense, and not as aggressive as we saw in the early going.
First down.
A first down for Skyridge. Ball at the 32-yard line. Sheffield, the tailback, next to Stevens. Play action, throw wide side. That's off the hands and incomplete of Trevin McClellan. Passed a little bit high there, but Zach, you got to figure that's one McClellan's got to come down with.
Definitely, just over his head. And you know, when you touch it, you want to have that ball, Alex. You want to do everything to bring it down, but really it just comes down to working as a team. They're going to move forward, see what happens on this next play.
2nd down and 10 from the 32. Stevens has a look to the sideline. Again, Justin Hem, the coach, is the de facto offensive coordinator here for the Falcons. Sheffield gets the handoff, has another hole. He's at the 25, and he's going to be very close to a first down. Brought down at the 23. They're going to say it's short by about 1.5 yards. Have to say, very surprised, Zach, that Westlake has not gone to more of a 6-man or a 7-man or even an 8-man box to try to stop Sheffield. 3rd and 1 yard. Sheffield again, and he's got the first down.
Ball's run out by Carter Sheffield as Skyridge brought down by Grayson.
Needed 1, he picked up about 7.
First down, Skyridge.
And so once again, Skyridge in the red zone. They were trailing at 1.7-0 after a interception turned into a touchdown. But Skyridge starting to assert itself here early in the second quarter. Sheffield from the gun. Sheffield next to Stevens, actually in the gun. Stevens throws. That is incomplete. And a late flag comes in as Call got hit late. And you have to say, Zach, that was not a smart penalty. I mean, that was not going to be completed. And it was not a very smart hit.
The ball was already out of his hands. It already hit him, and then it was just a late hit. We know that that's got to be frustrating, definitely, for Westlake on the sideline. They just want to get a stop here. But errors like that might what cost them.
Already the 3rd total personal foul of the game against both of these sides. Trent Call was squatting down. It looked like he was going to come out, but it looks like he's going to stay in at least for this play. Play does not result in an automatic first down, by the way, like it does in college. So second and 1 now from the 8. Stevens looks, throws for Burke, caught, touchdown!
Touchdown, Skyridge. Complete to Jack Burke.
And you see how Burke just brought that down, Alex. He ripped that out. He brought it down to his chest. He wanted that touchdown. He knew that what impact that's going to have on the Skyridge offense. And we're starting to see signs of what Skyridge has brought all season, is moments like that where they just get the job done in the end zone.
So Skyridge, after trailing early now, with the extra point, now leads at 14-7. So with 8:51 left here in the first half, the Westlake Thunder got off to a hot start, but now the Skyridge Falcons have asserted themselves as the favorite here in the game. At least for now, they lead 14-7 with just under 9 minutes to go. Rewind Sports Network's coverage of Skyridge football is presented by Igloo Outfitters, the coziest wearable sleeping bag as you cover during those chilly days and nights. You can watch your favorite team in comfort now with Igloo Outfitters. Go to igloooutfitters.com and enter the promo code REWIND for $20 off. And never miss the moments you were meant to see. That's IGLUoutfitters.com. Otherwise known as the official outfitter of Jeff Hansen. Alexander Tibble alongside Zach Hunter here at Westlake High School on this perfect night for football. Kickoff temperature was about 78 degrees. Wind coming behind us about 10 miles per hour as we look towards the shores of the lake. A line drive kick will go down towards the sideline and out of bounds. So that means the Westlake Thunder will start at the 40, or rather the 35-yard line. So, Zach, the Westlake Thunder have now started beyond the 35-yard line, or at or beyond the 35, all 4 of their possessions. And once again, we return to the point we were making. Skyridge just making some ill-timed mistakes.
Definitely, I feel that first touchdown, Alex, definitely threw off the game for Skyridge. They got back in it with those 2 touchdowns, and that might turn the tide. But it's those little errors like you're mentioning those are the things that might keep Westlake in the business. It's honestly the Skyridge errors they're making on themselves.
1st and 10 from the 35. Bayless in the shotgun. Now throws on the left side and incomplete. A dangerous pass as Edwards was in the vicinity of that slant pattern. And that's going to bring up a 2nd down here for the Thunder.
2nd down.
Hasn't been the cleanest game of football so far, wouldn't you say, Zach?
Definitely.
I mean, we had 2 turnovers in the span of 5 minutes, 2 touchdowns off of them in the span of 5 minutes.
I think this is kind of what you want, though, in football, in a way, at least in high school football, is seeing moments like this. It's brutal, as we see down here, where got a good run by Westlake, by Jake Youngberg.
Youngberg with another 1st down for Westlake, getting a good put. And you know what? This is what we talked about, Zach. We talked about which side might get the better push up front. It looks like both sides can say that they're getting a big push up front here so far. The running game has been working on both sides.
And that's definitely the flip side of what we said earlier, Alex, as we were talking about the pass game. The run game is definitely erupted right now. Me, as a fan of running backs and all runs, I see that we're seeing a presence by pushing the field, pushing down the line, and getting to the end zone. This is bringing the pace of the game up.
Bayless spins out of trouble. Toilolo chasing him down from behind. Bayless is going to get run out of bounds after a pickup of a yard. I mean, Deshaun Toilolo is probably one of the fastest defensive ends in 6A. I mean, he was coming with some bad intentions right there. You don't see very many people outrun Deshaun Toilolo on the edge right there.
And Alex, right in front of us, you can feel the power of the Westlake fan and student section and their marching band as well. The presence of the drums is going crazy, and Westlake hasn't dropped a beat, at least in the atmosphere here tonight.
Lumber gets the handoff, and he's gonna get smothered. Jackson Fenton said, I don't think so. And it's going to bring up another 3rd down and long here for Westlake, and a big 3rd down here at that.
He said it in the words of one of my best friends, Alex Cameron Moo. Big 3rd down right here for Westlake.
Yeah, he's probably seen a lot of these in recent years, being an alumni of the Mililani Trojans. He's probably said that to himself many times over the years. 3rd down and 12. Play clock inside of 5, and the Thunder are going to spend a timeout right here to talk it over.
Timeout, Westlake.
So we'll take it with them. 7 minutes, 16 seconds officially on the clock. Left here in the first half. Skyridge leading 14-7 in what's been a wild first half in Saratoga Springs.
Salt Lake Running Company is inspiring our community to move with purpose, embrace adventure, and consciously connect to their bodies. Exercise is essential, now more than ever. Take control of the chaos and make time for you. From the gym to the trail, SLRC can help you find the focus to define your finish line. Visit any of our locations along the Wasatch Front or shop online at slrc.com.
Alexander Timolip and Zach Hunter here at Westlake High School, 14-7, with Skyridge leading, but Westlake approaching midfield. Thanks to some very ill-timed mistakes by Skyridge, including a kickoff that went out of bounds. The Thunder have it near midfield, but they have a 3rd and 12 here. Bayless loses the football. Toilolo hit him, and it is recovered by Skyridge. Jackson Fenton came up with the fumble.
Recovered by
second turnover of the game for the Thunder.
36-yard line.
Definitely not what you want to see coming out of a timeout, Alex, is a play like that. You know it's got to be frustrating for the coaching staff and the team overall to have a moment right after the timeout where it just doesn't go in your favor. We'll have to see what the strength of the Westlake does here, their defense, and how they recover from this to stop the Skyridge pressure that has definitely acted up this second quarter.
Skyridge has been in a rhythm since that early interception thrown by Jackson Stevens. They have it 1st and 10 on the Westlake 35 following the fumble. Stevens right to the air. Has a man open. McClellan in coverage. He's got him! And he scores with it! Touchdown, Skyridge!
Number 6, Kevin McClellan.
Don't blink because you'll miss it. 11 plus 6 equals 6. And Skyridge takes immediate advantage and cashes in the fumble. And they stretch the lead.
Now, Alex, this is the Skyridge that we've seen. This is the Skyridge that's recognizable. Definitely that first quarter, we saw signs of them being unshaky or shaky during that first quarter. But we notice this, they're catching a rhythm right now.
Definitely what we expected for sure. The extra point is up, and it is good. And 21 straight points by the Falcons. They now lead it 21-7 with 6:56 to play in our first half. Back after this word from anyhour.com and its electric, plumbing, heating, and air manufacturing. 21-7 is now our score. Skyridge now leading Westlake. Alexander Tumulp and Zach Hunter here with 6:56 left in the first half. Skyridge the victim of some self-inflicted mistakes, but they have made dividends of their own in order to take a 21-7 lead. Here comes Peyton Barkley now from the end zone, and he gets clotheslined right about the 17-yard line.
So much energy coming from Skyridge, play after play coming into the second quarter. They're taking advantage of the moments they have. They definitely have had those moments so far of those self-inflicted errors, but their offense is showing signs of what they're best at, is scoring, is driving, and putting on the pressure. And that defense, the defense is showing strength as well, as we see on that last play. They're noticing where they can take action against Westlake, and they're taking advantage of it.
.6:25 left here in the first half. Deepest starting field position for the night for Westlake. And Bayless to throw again on first down. Steps up in the pocket, rolls to his right, throws. That is complete. And Ezra Heiner out to midfield. And he's got a first down. And that's where we've seen Bayless at his best, Zach, on the move as he completes that one for a first down and a gain of 34. And now look at Westlake here going quick. And we're going to have a stoppage here because the play clock was not set properly. It should be at 40, or rather it was not set for play just yet.
Definitely not what you want in that moment. You could see that Westlake was getting after the ball and wanted to get off fast.
Bayless runs into his own man on a block. Now looking up the sideline, now takes off, and he'll get escorted out of bounds by Tavian Edwards.
By Aiden Bayless.
He'll pick up about 2, and how about the Westlake Thunder showing some fight here, down 21-7, but not letting the score get to them here late in the first half.
I'm just happy to see how fast Westlake has responded each time that Skyridge has made a presence like that. They're quick, they shake it off, they move forward. And we're seeing just pressure that they're taking an example of Skyridge of moving the ball fast, getting off fast and going quick.
From the 48 now, 2nd down and 9. They gave Bayless officially 1. Bayless slides up again in the pocket, looking again to run. Now throws down the field. It is incomplete. Mason Jenkins didn't come up with it. He had Mark Baird, his man, beat on the near sideline. But Jenkins couldn't hold on, and that's probably one that number 16 should have come up with.
Thought I was going to see some magic on that play, Alex. That coming down, that was a high ball that Westlake had thrown. But we know that we can feel the tempo rising for Westlake. They're going to move fast. They're going to regroup here. They're talking down here. They're going to move forward and keep pressing. Skyridge has scored the last 21 points, but the Westlake Thunder
across midfield. Play clock now to 5. Now to 1. And they just get it away. Bayless swung down. Ball is out. But he was down after the sack. No chance on that one.
Number 31, Amani Louis foul.
Amani Liu foul. Untouched off the edge. And the Skyridge defense stands up and gets the stop.
It's just impressive to see, Alex, how composed Skyridge is after every big play. You notice that they've had the experience, and it just shows when they have those big moments.
Good coverage downfield on the punt that time by the Westlake Thunder. No gain on the punt return.
Brought down by number 15, Mason Jenkins.
Jenkins with the tackle on Fesi Moyai on the return. KSL Sports and the Rewind Sports Network is proud to cover high school football all season long. And next week, myself and Ty Wilkinson will be at Timpanogos for the Battle of the City Triangle. Mountain View plays at the Timpanogos Timberwolves. Coverage starts next Friday night, 7 p.m. If it's Friday night, it must be football night on KSLSports.com. We had a personal foul on the play against Skyridge, and that's going to back them up half the distance of the goal. And they're going to be inside the 10-yard line. And again, Zach Hunter, self-inflicted wounds killing the Skyridge Falcons here in this first half. There's another one. That's their 4th personal foul they've committed here in this first half.
First down, Skyridge.
Yeah, those big plays, Alex, by Skyridge definitely are helping them on the scoreboard. But those self-inflicted wounds definitely bring a damper on the mood.
Look at this, though. Carter Sheffield has the corner. Breaks the tackle all the way out close to midfield. That'll end the misery.
By number 3, Carter Sheffield.
And Carter Sheffield is having himself a first half here. We've called his name a lot, and he's responded.
No, if you're Skyridge right here, it's a wave of relief. Just, whew, you know that you just got out of a sticky situation there. And you're happy to be around midfield, putting the pressure back on Westlake.
42 yards for Carter Sheffield, and if I'm not mistaken, he probably is approaching 100 yards in just his first half alone. And why stop now? Stevens throws, that's complete. That is complete to Call, breaks a tackle, flag goes down.
Pass complete to number 1, Trent
And
Call.
where the yellow hanky was thrown, I suspect it's coming back.
It's coming back for sure, Alex.
I will say the two teams that kept Bryant Ford, our official here, very busy here in this first half. They've had a lot of time on air here.
Skyridge.
You have to say that, Zach Hunter, that's something that Dusty and Jeff don't like, is when refs start reffing. But they've had a lot of work to do because, like we said, Skyridge has been committing a lot of untimely penalties.
Yeah, the refs are definitely getting their work in tonight, running up and down the field every switch that happens.
So after the penalty for the hold, it backs the ball up inside the 50, now to the 44-yard line. Westlake showing pressure off the edge. It'll look like they're going to blitz, and they do. It's picked up, though, throw over the middle, and a lot of traffic, and incomplete. Intended for Trent Call, and it's going to be second down and long here.
Feels like there was just some miscommunication on the play there, Alex, that Stevens definitely had an idea, but Trent Call just looked around, not quite being in the right place. We'll see how Stevens responds.
Go get your snack on.
First and second down and long here from the 44. And we're going to have it offside. So 5 yards back the other way. It's going to make it second and a little bit more manageable here. Like we said, Bryant Ford's crew getting a lot of work in here in this first half.
Offside, Westlake.
7th penalty of the first half called tonight. We've had 5 against Skyridge, now 2 against Westlake. Triple wide receiver lines up to the right. Stevens looking to the sideline for the audible. Play clock at 10.
I wonder if as a ref, Alex, that you just practice throwing the flag ever. Get that wrist workout.
You probably do, as Burke makes the catch. Rather, no, he did not make the catch. It's incomplete. Ripped out of his hands by Mason Jenkins.
Pass intended for number 14, incomplete.
There have been a lot of big hits here in this first half, and that's another one. And now, Zach, this is a huge third down here for this Westlake defense to get off the field. And you know the noise is going to be turned up here by the fans. Westlake showing blitz, and here they come. Stevens screens it out. Sheffield has a block. He's got room. Carter Sheffield. No flags this time. Touchdown, Skyridge.
Touchdown, Skyridge, running by number 3, Carter Sheffield.
Carter Sheffield almost certainly now over 100 total yards in this first half, and what a call on 3rd and 15.
If you're Carter Sheffield right now, you're very happy with your performance right now. He has not let up all night. And Skyridge is in a spot very comfortable, going up 27-7 with 4 minutes left in the first half. We know that Skyridge is feeling comfortable in the hands of Carter Sheffield.
Carter Sheffield, the senior, as the extra point is up and good. And Skyridge has now scored 28 straight points to take a 28-7 lead with 4 minutes and 3 seconds left here in the first half.
Alex, if you're Westlake right here, what are you talking about on the sideline?
I don't know. What do you talk about? I mean, you got off to such a great start, up 7-0, and it looked like everything was going to be milk and honey from there out, but it just seems like Skyridge found something on that muff punt, Zach, that just flipped the tide of everything.
I feel like Westlake's going to need to have another big stop, another big interception or something to get the ball rolling. We saw life after that interception, but right now it's definitely turned the tide in Skyridge's favor, as it has done all season.
They scored off the muff punt, and then they scored off that interception. Or rather, they scored off the fumble. And this after Westlake scored off an interception on Skyridge's opening drive of the game. Kickoff is a short kick that will take a backwards hop. And we saw this last week, and I believe Skyridge may have come up with it. Or did they? It looked like it from here, and Brian Ford's crew says Westlake has it. Ooh, boy. Of all the things that could have possibly gone wrong for Westlake, that could have been it right there. I mean, we saw the exact same thing last week, where a kick took a backwards bounce and ended up in the hands of the Skyridge Falcons because no one could cover it for Riverton. So now Westlake from inside their 20 again. Bayless, sprint out to his left, and he goes down. This time Deshaun Toilolo says, I don't think so.
Definitely not the position you want to be in as Westlake, right on your own end zone. We know it's got to feel the pressure right now. What do you do to regroup here?
Skyridge has scored 28 straight points, 21 of them here in this second quarter. And now they have the Thunder backed way up into their own end. 2nd and a mile from the 6. A run here for Lundberg. And he gets about maybe 5. And I think if you're the Thunder here, you just want to protect the ball as much as you can and see what your defense can do. But that defense has been out there for quite a while now, Zach, and you got to wonder how much longer can they hold up against this Skyridge offense.
It really just comes a battle to who's going to last longest, like we talked about earlier. It's going to be who's experienced, who's comfortable in their position, and who can just have that grit to the end, Alex.
5 wide in the pattern. Bayless slides up in the pocket. Gets away. Toilolo has a hold of him, and then the cavalry comes over to take care of business. He's brought down at about
by Aiden Bayless.
the 17 or 18 yard line, and Skyridge is going to conserve some of the clock here and call a timeout.
About everyone was involved in that tackle, Alex. Bayless went down. Definitely just don't want to go backwards with the ball.
So we had a bit of a wild start in case anybody missed it. Skyridge, or Westlake, punted on their first possession after a pretty good kickoff return, and then they got, or rather Skyridge threw an interception down on the 5 yard line, which allowed Westlake to go down the field and score. But since then, Zach, the muff punt by Westlake seemingly has just flipped everything on its head towards the end of this first half.
Skyridge is definitely just taking advantage. They've clicked into their groove, and they know what they're here to do. They know that they're going to go score, and that's what they want to focus on here, is not making mistakes, which they've made plenty of tonight, so those self-inflicted errors, but they're focusing on what matters most. They're focusing on what they're good at, and that definitely reflects on the scoreboard, is where their head's at, where their motive's at. It's to score.
Barney now to punt, standing back on his 7 yard line. And this is a beauty. Line drive kick. And taken by Moyai at the 44. He gets out to midfield. And finally the cavalry comes over to knock him out of bounds at about the 40. And we have another penalty flag on the far sideline. And meanwhile, we have a man down for Westlake on the far side of the field. And if that's Aiden Bayless, the quarterback, that's not Bayless, the quarterback. That was one of the gunners down there that got hit. Actually, we do have a man down on that far side of the field. So we'll see what the penalty is. As Brian Ford, our referee, who's gotten quite a workout in. It looks like it's going to be a personal foul against Westlake for a blindside block. So things just got from bad to worse for the Westlake Thunder. In fact, that's Mason Jenkins, number 16, on the far side, that's hurt.
Sight down here, Alex, is we see all of Westlake kneeling, and just a sight to behold of the trust that they have in their teammate, the respect they have, and just the unity they have as a team. They want the best for their friend.
So 2:20 to go. Skyridge has scored 28 straight points since trailing 7-0 early. And they are now on the 25 yard line with arguably their best field position of the night.
Alex, if you're Westlake with 2:20 left on the clock here, what's a win right here going into halftime?
Well, obviously hold them out of the end zone for one. I mean, get a turnover would be even better at this point. But first things first, they have to stop Carter Sheffield. Stevens to pass, pressure coming. He steps up, now does a 180, and Sheffield is wide open, and it's almost picked. Well,
pass is broken up by number 5, Jackson Corey.
But unfortunately, we're going to have a personal foul for roughing the passer against the Westlake Thunder, and that's going to result in another first down. So wipe the incompletion / would have been an interception off the board for a roughing the passer.
Personal foul against Westlake, roughing the passer.
So that's going to make it 1st and 10 from the 12.
Ball will be placed on the 13.
And if that was intercepted, that might have been the
first down.
One of 3 things that had gone wrong for Skyridge here in this first half. So 1st and 10 from the 12. Call comes in motion. And it's Sheffield up the gut. And this time they're able to get a hold on him.
By number 3, Carter.
As Sheffield gets brought down after a pickup of maybe 2 yards. As we're under 2 minutes here to go.
Second down.
You can see that Sheffield he's very sneaky. He just gets in there, he runs the ball, and somehow the Westlake offense are trying to take him down, but he gets in there every time.
Yeah, just is like a bowling ball just in there. It's hard to bring him down. High snap. Stevens gets away. Stevens now throws, tipped, and incomplete. And again, Stevens maybe flirting with danger a little too much there.
Third down. Pass is broken up by.
As this is going to bring up another third down here for Skyridge. And again, that's 2 straight throws, Zach, where Jackson Stevens has flirted with danger.
Definitely good thing of the bobble off of that snap there. He did control that, and to his credit, he did spin and was able to get that off, but was definitely not controlled.
Big third down here. 3rd down and 8 from the 13. Skyridge can get a first down inside the 4. They mark it officially at the 3.5 without scoring, of course. Play clock down to 5. Double wides either side. Sheffield in the backfield. And it's a gift to Sheffield. Sheffield is going to get stoned at the line of scrimmage. And he's going to get brought down at about the 8-yard line. But given the nature of that play, Zach, you have to say Skyridge is going for it here with a minute to go, and they are.
They got to take advantage of this moment right here to get some hype going into halftime.
Skyridge just scored 28 points in a row. Crowd trying to turn up the volume here at Westlake. Stevens throws. Touchdown! Jack Burke again!
Pass complete to number 14, Jack Burke, for a Skyridge touchdown.
That is Burke's second of the half. Second of this quarter. 4th touchdown pass of the half for Jackson Stevens, and make it 34 in a row for the Falcons, with the extra point to come with 37 seconds left in the first half.
You just see the patience that Skyridge has, just waiting until they have it just set to hike the football, and then it pays off in the end with that patience. They have the result that they intend. They want to score, they get in, and definitely reflects on the scoreboard.
Well, another self-inflicted mistake there, Zach Hunter, as the extra point is no good. But it's 34-7 in favor of the Skyridge Falcons. We'd like to once again remind you, KSL Sports Rewind's presentation of high school sports is presented by Heidemann & Associates, the flat rate law firm that is completely focused on you. Get a free consultation by calling 801-472-7742 or go to utah.law to find the office nearest you for your free consultation courtesy of the Rewind Sports Network. Well, if anybody likes to move it right now, it's the Skyridge offense. They put up 34 straight points. And this has now evolved, I think, Zach, into what about we expected coming into this game. That Westlake, despite that great defense, how long would they be able to hold up against Skyridge? I guess the answer was about for maybe a quarter and a half.
It's definitely not where you want to be for the Thunder going into halftime. But we still got 2 quarters to play, Alex, after this. We'll see what Westlake is able to do to regroup.
As Peyton Barkley gets stoned. Now he finally gets taken down at about the 23-yard line. Some extracurricular activity, but no flag. Tobin Smith was able to get him down finally. And the umpire wants to have a word with Smith afterwards. I think they're just tired of the extracurricular activity here that they've seen in this first half. Ryan Ford's crew really has gotten their work in here in this first half. Rasmussen gets the handoff, and that will probably do it for the first half.
Ball's run out by number 24, Landon Rasmussen. Second down.
So Westlake got off to a dream start. They had the pick, and then they had the touchdown. But then Skyridge, off a muff punt, seemingly flipped the switch midway through the first quarter, and it's been all Falcons ever since as the final seconds tick down, and it takes us to the end of the first half as the horn sounds from behind the scoreboard.
With your score, Skyridge.
So, Zach, thoughts on that first half? That was a quite wild first half, but you have to say it hasn't been the cleanest half of football on either side, but the Skyridge Falcons have done what they needed to do in order to have this lead going into half. 34 unanswered points after trailing 7-0.
Your Westlake ballroom.
Now I'm seeing that, Alex, that if I'm Westlake going into the locker room right here, I'm talking with my team about what happened in that first few minutes of the game that gave so much energy, and that can we bring that back? Can we find what we did well there and can push that into the next half, the next two quarters? That's what I want to replicate as Westlake, is focus on those good moments we had in that first and forget about what happened later in the second quarter.
Well, Westlake was off to a great start, but Skyridge dominated the final 20 minutes of play in the first half. Your score at the break, the Skyridge Falcons, the defending champs, up 34-7 on the Westlake Thunder here at home. We'll be back for the second half after our halftime break. You're watching the Rewind Sports Network's coverage of Skyridge football presented by Heidemann. Welcome back, everyone. KSL Sports Rewind's coverage of high school football and Skyridge football presented by Heidemann and Associates is back. Skyridge leads 34-7 as we get set for the start of the second half. Alexander Timop alongside a broadcast partner, the former Salem Hills track star Zach Hunter. So, Zach, what a wild game we've witnessed here. A weird one at that, because it looked like Skyridge was going to dominate this early, but then they turned it over inside the 5, and then Westlake went down and scored. Then Skyridge got a muff punt, and now all that's turned into a 34-7 lead at halftime. For those folks that are wondering, how can this be 34-7, what the heck happened?
Yeah, what we see, Alex, too, is you're right. There was that first couple minutes of play that everything was shaken up. Westlake definitely took advantage of the ball early. They were throwing a wrench into Skyridge's plans. But Skyridge found their groove. They got back in the game. They fell into what they are normally doing, which is running the ball, passing the ball, moving to the end zone. And they fell right back into that groove. And so we're seeing a similar Skyridge that we've seen all season. They've fallen into that pattern. It's going to be up to Westlake right now, Alex, to find out what worked well in those first few minutes of play. How do we break up what Skyridge has presented to us, and how can we continue to push what those first 4 minutes of the game were through the rest of the game?
Right, and I think that goes back to what we talked about. Skyridge hasn't exactly played a perfect football game either. Both of these teams have not played a very perfect football game. There have been a lot of mistakes on both sides and on really ill-timed mistakes on both sides. I mean, Skyridge hasn't helped their cause either with so many penalties in that first half. And yet Skyridge is up 34-7. Is that a cause for concern maybe for Justin Ham going into a stretch where they're going to have teams like Lehigh and American Fork still on their schedule coming up in a few weeks from now?
I think, yeah, they're really focusing not on just this game, you're right, Alex, but about approaching the playoffs. They want to make it to Rice Eccles. They want to do everything they can, and it's going to be up to fixing the little things right there. They're setting a standard for themselves in this game. They're not just here to win it. They're here to work on those little things so that they can play those bigger opponents in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to get any easier, Zach. Like we said, they have Lone Peak, Pleasant Grove, Lehigh, and American Fork all still on their schedule after tonight. I mean, I told you off the top, right? I mean, the three letters that come to mind when I say 6A, when you say 6A Region 3 is SEC. Because that's what this is. De facto, this is the SEC of Utah high school football. But from what we saw in the first half, Skyridge doesn't exactly look like the Alabama juggernaut.
That might be a sloppy SEC,
yes,
Alex,
yeah,
but it's definitely SEC. A powerhouse. And we're going to have to see, how does Westlake fit into all this? What are they going to do differently in the second half of this ball game to show some life, show some confidence, play some good football?
Skyridge will get the football to start half number 2 here this evening. And the kickoff will go down to La'akea Kalama at the 5. And he breaks a tackle, and finally the cavalry comes over to make the stop at the 20-yard line. And there's a man down for Westlake at about the 24-yard line.
Runner brought down by number 28, Isaac Jenkins.
Isaac Jenkins made the stop.
You can tell he was very excited after taking that stop. He wanted that energy coming out of the locker room. And Westlake needs that kind of energy if they're going to make any sort of impact this quarter.
So the Skyridge Falcons, who have scored on 5 straight possessions. Carter Sheffield, by the way, has over 100 total yards. And Jackson Stevens, for the second straight week in the first half, threw 4 touchdown passes.
Speaking of Sheffield, Alex, he has 408 coming into this game with yards and 10 touchdowns, and he tacked on 1 tonight. Carter Sheffield is putting on performance that's going to set Skyridge into good form in the coming weeks. And
here he is again on cue. He breaks into the secondary, still on his feet, and he's tripped up finally at midfield.
Number 3, Carter Sheffield.
It's Carter Sheffield's world, and we're all just kind of living in it, Alex, aren't we?
Well, you said it right on cue. I mean, we were talking about him, and he's just showing you why he could be a big difference maker for Skyridge here in the region play, especially tonight. That was 30 yards on first down, and that's Carter Sheffield going over 125 total yards now in this ball game. Stevens bobbles the snap, now throws. That is complete, and getting gang tackled immediately at about the 43-yard line. Pick up a 7 yards on that play. As Skyridge, as is their want. As Skyridge is their want, wanting to go quick. Noah Burt, number 80, made the last reception.
Looks like Skyridge's plan this quarter is just going to be attack, and just put that comfort zone on the scoreboard and just see what happens in the fourth quarter.
Stevens, screen, that's complete. McClellan runs into his own blocker. And McClellan has a first down across the 40-yard line to the 39. Officially marked about the 37 and a half. Reminder, if we do reach 35 points in this half, we'll have a running clock. And it will not stop until Westlake gets it within 14 points. Stevens motions. Hand off to Sheffield. Nope, play action. Stevens got a man behind the defense. That's Colby Smith. He cannot hold on.
Pass intended for number 2, Colby Smith. Incomplete.
And Colby Smith was that close to having his second touchdown of the night. He unfortunately could not hang on, and I think he landed on top of the football with it as he trots off the field. Missed opportunity there for Skyridge, to say the least.
And they're getting right back in, Alex. And there's a break, as I say.
Yeah. Well, the spread offense does do that sometimes. Where they just audibilize and look for the hard count off to the sideline. 2nd down and 10 now from the 38. Stevens straight drop throw. That's a high throw. And incomplete, intended for Burke.
Pass intended for Jack Burke.
And it will bring up another 3rd down. We've seen quite a bit of that tonight, Zach, where Jackson Stevens has thrown a little bit high outside his receivers, and they've just not been able to come up with the ball.
He's definitely going to go into this weekend thinking and practicing and figuring out those little tweaks that are going to help him in the coming weeks. It's going to just finding his receivers, knowing and feeling confident. That's what's going to change for him.
3rd down and 10. Stevens, handoff. Sheffield, nothing doing.
Tackled by number 13, Fale Famu
got into the backfield. And it's 4th down and long, and it looks like Skyridge is going to line up for what appears to be a pooch punt formation. Or at least they're not looking like they want to go for it here. They have McClellan and Smith and Burke in here. And they also have the running back Sheffield in here on 4th down and 13. Play clock down to 9. And they are going to run a play. Stevens, he's got a man wide open, and I mean wide open behind the defense, and it's broken up. What a great play. It looked like Burt was going to be open behind the coverage, but it was broken up.
Broken up by number 19, Colton Parkendahl.
Colton Parkendahl made the breakup, and that's a huge stop there for Westlake. I know it's a 27-point game, Zach, but that's the first time Skyridge hasn't scored on a possession since their opening drive of the game.
And just credit to the Westlake defense there, Alex. They read that like a book, and that was a big stop that you say. Any stop is credit to Westlake.
Bayless runs into his own blocker, and now he gets taken down. Jacopo Malafau, along with Tazen Sello. Second sack of the night for the Skyridge defense. Actually, that's their 3rd sack.
This might be a growing period for the Skyridge defense, Alex. This game, we know coming into, like we said at the start, that's going to be their key to the game is getting that defense locked down. I feel like this is the defense for Skyridge. That's what they're going to work on this game, and to build some confidence for their bigger opponents they're going to have, like we talked about. This is the game where they work on that and perfect their defense.
That's not going to help right there. Rasmussen takes it up the middle. And he gets about maybe 5 yards. And it's going to be a 3rd and a manageable 5 here for this Westlake team. And Zach, I know it's a 27-point game, but this is a big 3rd down for the Skyridge defense. Like you said, we're about to find out what they're made of here after that big stop by the opposing defense on that last drive.
This is definitely a big moment for the team, for both teams, really. And we still got a ball game. We still got lots of minutes to play. We got some big performance that may happen. It's going to be up to the defenses on both sides to see who can stop the other.
Skyridge showing blitz. Play clock down to 3.
Another flag, Alex.
And we're going to have a false start. We're out of a snap infraction, in fact, on Westlake. Oh, that hurts. Again, untimely errors.
5-yard penalty.
And so instead of 3rd down and 4, it's going to be 3rd down and 9 3/4 here. Playbook gets a little bit shorter here.
You know there's going to be a big talking point, Alex, when they review some film is how can we avoid these errors going into our next opponents next week?
Bayless in trouble. Penalty flag goes down. He's going to have the 1st down. Bayless down the sideline and out of bounds at the 30, but it's going to come back. As there was a holding penalty on the far side.
1st down.
And again, another untimely error against the Thunder.
That was going to be the biggest offensive play that we've seen in Westlake and in the whole game, really. But unfortunate error again by Westlake. Both teams are going to have to talk about how to fix this with the next couple weeks.
Against Westlake holding.
So instead of 3rd down and 4, now instead of 3rd down and 9, it's going to be 3rd down and really long here. 3rd down and 19 now. So that's 15 yards in penalties that the Westlake Thunder have given up here. Could have had a 3rd down and 4, could have had a 1st down run on 3rd and 9, and now you're facing a 3rd down and a 1.5 miles. A 1st down from here to Draper. Bayless, jailbreak. Bayless gets out. He's not going to have anywhere to go. And finally, Toilolo gets over there, and they bring him down again. That's the 4th sack of the night. And the ball looks like it came out at the end of the play. Skyridge is saying they have it. Jacopo Malefau saying they have it. But the signal is that Westlake got back on top of it.
The defense is showing out for Skyridge right now with that huge tackle right there. Just broke what Bayless was planning. And we know that Bayless in that moment, going into that play after the previous one, he just wants to get the ball moving. He wants to move those chains. And unfortunately, he just got taken down. We know it's got to be a tough moment to go through his head.
Yeah, Bayless has just been under siege, really. As this is a wobbling line drive punt that is taken on the run by Moyai. Throws a stiff arm. Gets out across the 45, and he finally gets brought down by a host of blue shirts at the 46. How about that stiff arm there from Moyai, just showing you what he's got there on the return. And that sets up Skyridge with nice field position.
Thanks to more of our sponsors that help keep our program.
Very good movement over there.
KSL Sports rewinds coverage of Skyridge football, presented by Heidemann & Associates, the full-service law firm that is committed to winning for you, the client. Call them at 801-472-7742. Or visit them online at utah.law to schedule your free consultation with them, courtesy of the Rewind Sports Network. Back to work goes Carter, goes to Jackson Stevens, and he hands off here to Burke on the fly sweep. Stiff arm on that rough side, but that time able to hang on for the tackle was Vea. Still got 6 yards out of it. Six minutes left to go. From the shotgun, Stevens takes the snap, hands it off. And now this is Brett Baylor into the game, the running back. And Baylor picks up a first down across the 43. And he's got it. And the beat goes on here for Skyridge. Stevens from the gun now. Looks over to the sideline for an audible.
Just the patience on the Skyridge offense, just to ease into it, to get the play done. They make sure that they're doing what they want to do, and they execute well.
Stevens, play action, throws. That's complete to Smith. And Smith on the RPO gets down to the 25-yard line. That's a pickup of 18 yards to move the sticks again for the Falcons. 5 minutes, 15 seconds left here in this third quarter. 34-7 Skyridge. Despite not scoring on 2 of their 8 possessions tonight, they have scored 34 straight points since trailing 7-0. Seems like an eternity ago, Zach, we were talking about that, wasn't it?
Definitely.
Stevens throws, and behind the intended receiver, Jack Burke. Couldn't bring that one down.
You can visually see Stevens' frustration on that. He wanted that. He wants to get to the end zone just to give some comfort and maybe bring in the reserves in a few minutes too.
That's the crazy thing, Zach. We were talking about it last week. They brought in the reserves when they were up 51-3 at halftime. Stevens only played one half of football. I mean, that's insane.
It's insane numbers Stevens is putting on, and you know he's holding himself to that standard. He wants more, even when his team is in good position.
Brett Baylor trying to take it to the left side, and he gets swallowed up. Good tackle by Vea, not allowing Baylor to get the edge there, and it'll bring up another third down.
By number 11, Musi Ta'amopolu.
Actually, that's Musi Ta'amopolu making the stop. And I know Dusty's going to rag on me for that, Zach, because I can say all the Polynesian names.
I'm here for you, Alex. I'm here for you.
As long as they don't talk down on me on the red zone, I think we're fine. 3rd down and 9. Stevens throws, got a man wide open, and it is complete for the touchdown. A hat trick for Jack Burke.
Touchdown, Skyridge.
And the beat goes on. That is Burke's 4th touchdown catch of the game, and the 5th thrown tonight by the Davis transfer Jackson Stevens.
Very similar touchdown with what happened previously on the other side of the field. Burke just grabbed that, tucked that in, it survived the ground. Burke knows what he's doing, and he tucks it in. It's got to give Skyridge some momentum, knowing they are up 40-7 right now. They got to feel confident with where they're at.
Well, with the extra point, make it 41 in a row for the Falcons. 41-7 with 4:10 to go here in the third quarter. Back after this word from Any Hour Electric Plumbing, Heating, and Air on the Rewind Sports Network. (41-7). Alexander Timov alongside Zach Hunter here at Westlake High School. Kickoff will go into the end zone, but we have a flag for an offside on the kickoff. So we'll back it up and do it again.
Just getting some practice in there, Alex.
I know, seriously. The wind is blowing pretty stiffly from the back. The wind is coming in from the north about 10 miles per hour.
Oh, I'm feeling it up here for sure.
We're all feeling it.
A couple weeks here soon, Alex. Might be catching some rain, some snow maybe near the end of the football season.
Well, the forecast does call for at least a little bit of rain next week, Friday. Hopefully it doesn't affect the games too much.
5-yard penalty against Skyridge.
Been a very strange night, to say the least, here in Saratoga Springs.
Definitely fits the theme of the Wild West night. That's what we were saying in the break. Westlake has felt that wildness tonight, going in with momentum, but definitely not reflected on the scoreboard now.
This time, this kickoff will be taken at the 11-yard line by Jenkins. And Jenkins gets twisted down from his jersey. Actually, that's Aiden Bayless, who is returning the kickoff. Tobin Smith with the one-handed shirt grab and then throw to the turf.
The defense is really showing out for Skyridge in the second half, Alex. It's good to see that they're taking those moments that they have to put that pressure on, to stop Westlake at all costs, and taking advantage of that. That's where they're perfecting that skill that they needed to tonight, is in their defense.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Westlake just trying to save their pride here. Sweep to the near side. This is Lundberg, and he's going to go nowhere. They strung that one out pretty well. Well, Zach, I guess the talking point now for this Westlake team is you've lost 4 in a row, and this Skyridge team, scary to think, is on the verge of putting up 100 total points in back-to-back weeks, while allowing likely under 20 total points. I mean, if you're Westlake, where do you go from here, knowing that you've been in so many of these games, but you just have not been able to clean up the mistakes in these situations?
I think it may come down, Alex, to what do you define success at this point for Westlake in this game? What's the real win here? And I think it's just acting composure and getting experience.
That pass is underthrown and incomplete. It was almost intercepted, but we had a pretty good look at it from up here, and I think Addison can confirm on the camera that ball looked like it hit the turf before it was secured.
We got a good nod from Addison there.
Yeah, Addison's nodding here, so I think we both had it right. We all three of us have it right. Like we said, though, Zach Hunter, it has been a very strange night here in Saratoga Springs. The scoreboard doesn't show it, but certainly the play on the field does.
I feel like we've seen like 2 different games, Alex.
We really have.
We saw a little game.
That's why I say that's strange.
It's very strange to see just like the different levels of play. Feels like 2 separate games. Skyridge was able to regroup, and we're seeing the result of this now.
This is Lundberg. They're just going to try to pick up as much as they can. They might pick up the first down. Lundberg is going to be close, but I don't think he has it.
Fans are not happy about that play.
Yeah, but they've been letting that go all night. I can see why they want a flag, but that's not going to be called with a 41-7 score.
40-yard line, that's a Westlake first down.
But they are going to give Lundberg the first down, and that's the first down, I think, of this half for the Thunder. And it comes with 3:42 left in the third period. Has been a very physical game, to say the least. Rasmussen now the tailback. He gets the handoff right side, and he's going to go nowhere. He gets stonewalled at the line of scrimmage by a host of white shirts, led by Tazen Selu and Jackson Fenton.
Second down.
Tobin Smith also there around on the party.
Again, it's that defense. They are putting on a performance for their coach right now. They want to show what they're made of. They want to show what they're capable of.
And that has to please defensive coordinator Patrick Gleaves, because here's the Skyridge Falcons. This is the number one defense in 6A last year. They gave up an average of 12 points a game. They allowed 20 points only once last season, and that was in their quarterfinal game against Davis. Of note, Jackson Stevens, their quarterback, playing for Davis at that time, now the quarterback here. As second down, throw that is incomplete, intended for Tal Mosili.
Pass intended for...
It does make you scratch your head, Zach, because this Skyridge defense, a lot of questions was being asked about them the last couple of weeks coming into that Riverton game. They'd given up 20 points. They were kind of shaky in some spots. Does this kind of fully answer the questions for you these last two games, or do we need to see another performance like this against, say, a Lehigh or an AF to fully say this Skyridge team is capable of defending their title?
That's what I feel, Alex, is that it's kind of their Achilles heel has been the defense. And so going into this game,
Which is strange to say,
too. But knowing that that's what they want to focus on, that's what they want to get better at, and coming the next weeks, that's what they're going to have to solidify to build confidence come playoffs.
Really, and that's the funny thing we talk about with this defense, because they're going to play a Jet New at Lehigh. They're going to play a really dynamic offense like American Fork with Dylan Story, Davis Andrews, all those players. It's not going to get any easier, but at least for now, I think allowing only 17 points in the last two games would help the cause run of a false start on the punt.
We could flip that script too, Alex, of what is something that Westlake wants to build upon right now for their future season. What would you say to that?
That's the question. I mean, where do you go from here if you're head coach Arnold Ale? I mean, they've been in so many of these situations where they have been in games late, but their offense has just not been able to put any points on the board. And it's reared its ugly head here tonight. This is a good punt, line drive into the wind. And it is muffed by Edwards. And he's able to gather it in and take it up to about the 25-yard line. And there is a flag. There's two flags. And there was some more extracurricular activity on that far side. And I suspect we're going to have some form of offsetting penalties here against both squads.
Definitely seen our fair share of penalties tonight.
And that's
something definitely they're going to have to review on film.
Yeah, it's definitely not something I think Coach Arnold LA or Justin Hems can be particularly happy about. As here comes referee Brian Ford, who we said has really gotten his work on here tonight. There were two flags down. So we'll see what Brian Ford says. It's a sideline warning. That's the first penalty. And then we had a personal foul against Skyridge. So that's going to back the Falcons up inside their own 15. I mean, you'd have to think, Zach, that the way that they're committing penalties at this point for the Falcons, they're not going to get away with this against the Lehigh or an American Fork or a Lone Peak. I mean, this is the stuff that could come back to haunt you.
They need to take advantage of these opportunities to grow right now. We're just seeing time and time again those flags coming out. It does pause for concern. You're right, Alex.
Baylor up the middle. And Powell gets his arms around him and brings him down at around the 15-yard line. So pick up of 1 or 2 yards on the play, officially marked off a yard and a half. Jackson Stevens has thrown 5 touchdown passes tonight, 4 in the first half. 4 of those touchdown passes have gone to Jack Burke. And Carter Sheffield has also put on a show tonight, over 125 total yards rushing, or rather 125 total yards. Stevens has hit as he throws it incomplete. Intended for Trevin McCullen. Good pressure put on by Powell coming off that right edge, and it'll bring up another third down.
The offense have really put on a performance tonight, Alex. I've just been impressed by the run game and the pass game by Skyridge. They definitely are just trying new things tonight and getting those reps in ahead of their playoff schedule.
I mean, you could basically say the rest of the region schedule is a playoff schedule, basically, with how difficult it's going to get. I mean, they have Lehigh next week at home. That should be interesting. And then they have American Fork to close out the season, all sandwiched around Lone Peak. Mind you. And
region play is very fun in Utah.
Yes, apparently with realignment as well. Stevens rolls to his right, throws. He's got McCullen open. He's got him. And he's finally brought down at the 35-yard line. Trevin McClellan. Pickup of 49 yards on that play.
Every moment that you've seen from the Skyridge offense where there's just a good break and you wonder if they are going to be able to push the ball further, there's a big play like that where they're able to move the chains and be able to get down the field and get in good position. They explode on the offensive line.
Baylor gets the handoff up the middle, breaks a couple of tackles, trudges through the secondary, and he's going to get close to the first down, pickup of about maybe 9. As we are under 1 minute to go here in this third quarter. Crazy to think Skyridge was behind 7-0, Zach Hunter, all that eternity ago, but now here they are threatening to put up their 47th point of the night.
You got to be thinking of your Skyridge right now, Alex. Is this the play that determines what we're going to do moving forward into the fourth quarter? If we get to the end zone.
McClellan makes the catch. He's inside the 10 and brought down inside the 10 at the 6. Stevens wants one more play run before the end of the quarter. I don't know if Justin Hem is going to let him. Clock starts running with 10 seconds left here in the third quarter. There's about a 4-second difference between our bug and the scoreboard. And they do not get it off. So we will start the fourth quarter with Skyridge on the 7-yard line, first and goal, comfortably ahead. It is 41-7 in favor of the Falcons. Back after this word from UC Youth Conference Football. At the end of tonight's game, Zach and I will be selecting our choice, or maybe choices, for the Heidemann & Associates Player of the Game, presented by the full-service law firm committed to winning for you, the client, and a proud sponsor of Skyridge Football on the Rewind Sports Network. Start of the fourth quarter here with Alexander Timolip and Zach Hunter as Jackson Stevens right back to work and fires behind Trevin McClellan, incomplete. And it will bring up second and goal now from the 7.
We've seen that a lot throughout the game, haven't we, Alex? There's been a lot of those.
And a lot of high throws.
Stevens definitely has got to be thinking about this and tomorrow and through the weekend, reflecting on those incompletes. Definitely focus on the positive, for sure, Alex, but it's got to be those moments, got to be frustrating for Stevens.
Second and goal from the 7, McClellan in motion. Sweep goes to Baylor. And he is going to get stoned at the line of scrimmage. Well read by that Westlake defense, and now it's third down. Saleh Fanu made the stop
Third down
for Westlake, and now that brings a third and goal. Loss of 2 on the play from the 9.
It's just a slow persistence by the Skyridge offense, Alex, that really stands out as they just wear down the opposing defenses. They've done it all season, and it's really evident tonight against Westlake.
Third and goal. Stevens bobbles the snap, got a man open on the right side, but didn't see him. Now Stevens rolls and throws, and it is caught in the back of the end zone for the touchdown.
Touchdown,
Trevin McClellan. The 6th touchdown toss by Jackson Stevens tonight, as we have officially entered into running clock territory with 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
It's what McClellan wanted. He was in the end zone. He was there for it. And we've seen he's been in the right spot all night.
The extra point is up and good. 48-7 in favor of the Skyridge Falcons. Running clock now in effect. We'll be back after this word from Modern Missionary Menswear on the Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com. The Rewind Sports Network's coverage of high school football is presented by Advanced Windows. Their fall window sale going on right now. You can get $2,000 off 100 windows or more with 60% interest, with 0% interest for 60 months. Financing available for a limited time only. Also presented by Igloo Outfitters, the most comfortable way you can watch your team and never miss the moments you were meant to see. 48-7 in favor of Skyridge. We have now entered running clock territory. The clock will only stop on penalties and timeouts as a squib kick, trying to keep it away from Peyton Barkley, is covered up at the 40.
Westlake's ball on the 40-yard line.
And that will probably be the last stoppage of the clock we'll have for tonight.
You got to be thinking right now, Alex, for Westlake, what can we learn from this, right? What lessons can we put in practice right now to have some sort of positive outcome in this game? Definitely they're going to have many takeaways to take to the next phase of their season. But what can they do right now to put on performance, to feel some confidence moving into next week?
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier for Westlake. I mean, their region schedule, I mean, this whole region is just loaded with just talent up and down the board. As Bayless pressured, rolls to his right, and he gets chopped down across the 40. At the 41, again, running clock because of the 35-point mercy rule. We'll only stop the clock on penalties and timeouts. And so we are speedily headed to the conclusion of this one here this evening in Saratoga Springs, of what Zach Hunter and I have very much deemed a very strange game, to say the least. I mean, Westlake got started fast. This party was going. And then the air was just sucked out of the building from that point on, as that throw is incomplete into a whole bunch of traffic on the I-15.
Kind of feels like a dream, those first couple minutes of the game. It's one of those where, did that really happen? Did Westlake really put on that pressure? Did the touchdown happen? Yes, of course. It's on the scoreboard. But Skyridge has just dominated completely throughout this game. They've definitely wrote the story of this game tonight.
Leather wallet.
So Skyridge about to go to 5-0 on the season, and they are going to play Lehigh next week. Zach Hunter, that is going to be a really tasty one next week on the Highland Plains.
Indeed.
The War of West 3rd Street. Bayless, quarterback draw, got some room, midfield, makes a spin move, and he finally gets clobbered right at the 35-yard line.
That might have been the biggest run of the night for Westlake, at least from Bayless, for those around 25 yards. And we've seen just that may bring some confidence, one of those talking points that we talked about earlier. What are some lessons they can put into place right now? Might be just moving the chains.
On the 36 now, 1st and 10, under 9 minutes to go here in the ball game. And off up the middle goes to Rasmussen.
Ball's run out by Rasmussen.
Some signs of life from the fan base, from the student section below. They're still having a party down here. They're still getting into it. Any signs of life, they want to cheer their team on.
And you should know that, being a Salem Hills graduate, you were part of a lot of those mosh pits on Friday nights and on basketball nights.
The pre-COVID mosh pits were crazy.
Well, it wasn't like they all went away in 2021. You just had to do it while you were wearing a mask.
Probably. We've seen here, too, from the fan base. They have a couch down below. Not sure what that's all about. Got a chariot?
What is this, West Virginia? They're trying to burn a couch as that throw goes toward the sideline and it's broken up. Incomplete.
To be unbiased, but I kind of want to see another touchdown so I can just see that chariot in motion that they have down on the north end of the field.
Incomplete.
I don't know, maybe they are trying to burn the couches like they do at West Virginia after victories.
That's true.
Hayden Bayless trudging over to the sideline to the 3rd and 8 here from the 34. Obviously, it's 4-down territory, being the score is where it is, 48-7. And given the fact that it is 48-7, I sincerely doubt we're going to see the starters here for Skyridge the rest of the way. Meanwhile, play clock here down to 5. Play clock down to 1. They just get it away. Bayless, busted play, in trouble. Now tries to make some magic happen. He might do that and a lot more. And he's going to get shoved out very close to that first down marker. He gets shoved into the kicking net.
Bayless has definitely been the biggest player this second half, running the field. He just wants to move those chains and definitely has brought the most sense of life into Westlake so far.
And they're again going to give him a spot for a first down. Westlake hasn't scored a touchdown since their second drive of the game. Other than that, it has been all Skyridge. Strange to say that it has been that way, given the fact that it has been all helter-skelter since the beginning. Here's Rasmussen up the middle on the dive. And he gets maybe 3. Like we said, Skyridge will head off to play Lehigh at home next week in the War of West 3rd Street. And interesting to see how the two fan bases respond, Zach Hunter, because I told you on the way up here, Skyridge was not exactly pleased, let's just say, with Lehigh coming up to 6A, and when the vote was made for realignment, allegedly, as the story goes, they abstained from voting. So things are about to get a little spicy between those two squads next week on the Highland Plains, like I said, as Rasmussen takes the handoff and he just gets decked.
Skyridge is definitely making a name for themselves, like you're saying, and how that will be a huge game against Lehigh. They want to make a statement. They want to define themselves as one of the top, or if the top contenders in the region. They want their name solidified, and they don't want to have that be questioned for sure. So that game is going to be massive next week.
Right, because all signs at this point, Zach, as we've been talking about it here, point to Corner Canyon and Skyridge at least getting to Rice Eccles Stadium. Whether they're going to meet for the championship is still up in the air. But what we've seen on the evidence of the last 3 weeks, it certainly seems likely. If not a foregone conclusion. 3rd down and 8 again. Bayless rolls out of pressure, now throws in a double coverage, and it's incomplete. And this will be it. 5:13 to go. It's 4th down and 8.
Pass intended for.
And it does appear we're actually going to have a field goal attempt.
Incomplete.
By Westlake, and I have to say for the strangeness of this game tonight, that is a very strange decision for me. You're down 41 points and you're taking only 3.
Yeah, I'm seeing that, Alex, and I'm seeing, too, just the similarities this has had all season with Skyridge, especially in their first game against Riverton, just putting up massive points, massive dominant presence as that goes through.
But this one is right through the middle.
Field goal is good by Westlake.
So it is 48-10 in favor of Skyridge now with 4 minutes and 49 seconds left here in the game. One more time tonight, we'd like to remind you that Advanced Windows is offering $2,000 off, 100 windows or more, with 0% interest rather, for 60 months. Available for you as well for a limited time only. $4:49 to go here in the game. Alexander Timop alongside Zach Hunter here at Westlake High School. Don't forget, coming up at the conclusion of tonight's game, Zach and I will have our choice for the Heidemann & Associates Player of the Game. And I assume we're going to have a very animated conversation about that coming up in just a few minutes.
Again, I'll give it up to the Westlake fan base. They have not let up all night. They want to see some action. They're happy with that field goal. And they got some energy going the last 5 minutes of the game.
Kickoff is taken at the goal line and brought back out to the 20-yard line. So Skyridge, as far as I can see on that sideline, is about to bring in the second team offense, and it looks like they are. We're going to see Kendall Sweetwine here for the second straight week. Of course, saw Sweetwine against Riverton last week, and then we saw the third-string quarterback, Boston Fountain. But most of the reserves, if not already in, they have already been in for a while. This is one of them, Brett Baylor. Breaks a couple of tackles and gets smothered at the 21-yard line.
If you're a reserve right here, too, Alex, you just want to put on some good minutes of football right now. You want to put on the pads. You want to go hard. And you just want to be a part of that, contributing to that amazing dominance that Skyridge has to provide. This is a moment where it's a great opportunity for these reserves to shine.
Sweetwine throws. That's complete to Burt. And Burt gets out over the 30 to the 35. He picks up a first down to the 36-yard line.
Tackled again by Isaac Jenkins. Skyridge first down.
Isaac Jenkins made the stop for the Westlake Thunder as we're under 4 now here in the fourth quarter. Here's another crazy stat for you, Zach. Over the last 2 weeks, Skyridge has now outscored their 2 opponents, and I get it, and I get that it was maybe less than stellar competition, but you put up 106 points and you allow only 20 points in the last 2 weeks? Should be cause for concern, I think, for the rest of 6A. Here's Sweetwine on the keeper on the option. Stays on his feet and then gets clocked. And actually, I think we got friendly fire there on that right side as somebody took a shot in the head. But still, 106 points. 106 points to 20. That's insane.
Doesn't even feel like a football score.
Should be cause for concern for the rest of 6A, in my opinion, is Sweetwine on the option. Tries to stay in bounds, and he gets chopped down close to the marker.
You know, the other teams in the 6A, Alex, are watching this game and seeing what is Skyridge doing? What can we learn from Skyridge to promote our offense? And how can we prepare for them and that dominance? Because how can they avoid the problems Westlake has incurred tonight and then moved on and put up a fight against the Skyridge offense? That will be the key for teams watching tonight.
You also have to figure, Zach, as Sweetwine hands off to Baylor, and he's going to get the first down by a yard as he puts his head down. Clock will momentarily stop while they set the chains. It also stands to reason, Zach, that we've been talking about all night. It has not been the cleanest game of football for Justin Hem's Falcons. They have had some untimely penalties. They've had some untimely turnovers. It does make you wonder, maybe the rave for Skyridge to show that they are the top dog in 6A is to stop shooting themselves in the foot as Baylor takes the sweep and he gets to about the 45. Maybe that is the reason that they're holding themselves back, because they can't get out of their own darn way at the moment.
And I think, too, going back to the start of the game, Alex, not alone is Westlake going to think, hey, what did we do to put that mess up onto Skyridge, put that pressure that kind of broke them up for those first few minutes? Other teams are going to look at this game and realize, what did Westlake do to mess up that Skyridge, to throw them off their pattern? That's what's going to be different these next few games.
And they cannot afford Zach Hunter to do any more shenanigans like they did tonight with those self-inflicted wounds, because like we said, you can't get away with that against talented teams like an American Fork, against the Lehigh, and against the Lone Peak or a Pleasant Grove. You can't get away with that week after week.
If you're going to set that new standard as a team and achieve that new rank, yeah, you can't be doing that.
Third down and less than a yard here. We'll be under a minute with the next snap. And what I assume will be the last action we'll see tonight. Sweetwine takes it inside the 30. He's brought down at the 27. And with 57 seconds to go, with the clock running after they set the chains, that should take us to the finish line here tonight in Saratoga Springs. As Sweetwine will come to the line. And he will take a knee. And that will do it.
What a game it's been by both teams, honestly. We've seen impressive performance by the Skyridge offense and the Skyridge defense as well. And Westlake has had a great showing, especially by Bayless, to be able to run the ball in the second half. It's been good football all around. We have had those errors, and it has made it sloppy, but overall, great performances so far in this game.
Hey,
I want to thank Addison on the camera tonight. It's been a strange game, to say the least. But still a lot of questions left to be answered for Skyridge. Not the most convincing performance tonight against the Westlake Thunder, but the scoreline will definitely show that. As the Skyridge Falcons get out to a ragged start as the horn sounds. Skyridge defeats Westlake 48-10. We'll be back after one final word from Mountain Land Truck Outfitters on the Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com.
Commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters.
Welcome back to Westlake High School in Saratoga Springs. Alexander Tumop alongside Salem Hills track star Zach Hunter, wrapping up this presentation of Skyridge football, the Rewind Sports Network, presented by Heidemann and Associates, the full-service law firm committed to winning for you, the clients. Well, Zach, it was a very strange game, to say the least, here tonight at Saratoga Springs. Westlake got out to a really hot start. I mean, this place was ready for liftoff when the Thunder took off with a 7-0 lead after halftime. But then after that, it was all Skyridge from then on, 48 straight points en route to the win. But you have to say that this wasn't exactly the most convincing Skyridge performance tonight, especially with a lot of self-inflicted wounds they had tonight.
Definitely, I've seen that throughout the game. There were so many errors on both teams that could have been avoided, but again, Skyridge just dominated the field. They dominated the pressure. I was impressed with the pace that Skyridge put on the ball. They maintained control the whole time. It was a constant pressure that Westlake had to fight back with. And that's just what Skyridge is known for, and what they're making a brand for themselves is that constant pressure getting to the end zone.
And this all without, of course, La'akea Kalama, who was out tonight injured, but they still got it done on the offensive end with a lot of help. So time now for our choice for Heidemann & Associates Player of the Game, presented by the full-service law firm committed to winning for their clients and a proud sponsor of Skyridge football on the Rewind Sports Network. Zach, we were having a rather animated conversation about this during the intermission between the third and the fourth quarter. I'm going to go United Nations executive order here. We have a three-way tie for players of the game. Three-way tie for players of the game tonight. Carter Sheffield, over 125 total yards and a receiving touchdown on a brilliant call by Justin Hem. Jackson Stevens, 6 touchdown passes in less than 3.5 quarters of work. And then Jack Burke, 4 receiving touchdowns on the night. This Skyridge offense, when it's good, showed us tonight in the last 2 weeks with 106 points on the board. They can be very, very difficult to stop.
Too many good players on the Skyridge offense to list as our player of the game. And definitely we've seen throughout the game there was just constant momentum by each of those players. They definitely got to the end zone. They were putting on a performance. They were doing what they're known for. And overall, they were there, and they recognized that this is what we do.
Zach, that was fun. And I know we miss Alex Amrine on the call. We know we wanted him here tonight.
Shout out to Alex.
Yes, very much shout out to Amrine. We hope he's doing okay. But, it's the start of a brand new era for you and me, because I was going to hold off on this, folks, but come this November, Zach Hunter and I will be on basketball for the first time together. Of course, taking over for the incumbent Colton Potter, who graduated and moved on to bigger, better things. Zach, this is the first of many you'll get to do with me. I can't wait.
I'm excited. One track star trying to learn all these sports. It'll be a fun ride.
Want to thank Addison again on the camera, and Vince Francis back in Salt Lake in the KSL Sports Zone studios for his help getting this all set up tonight. Again, the final score, Skyridge defeats Westlake 48-10. For Zach Hunter, I'm Alexander Timalev. This has been a presentation of the Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com, your home for the UHSAA Championships. Until we meet again, take care of one another, everyone. Maui, we love you. Aloha from Utah, and good night.